You want to see a true American hero? Forget about Tony Stark, Captain America, or Frederick Douglas. Just turn to Idris Elba.
If you want to get laid.
At least as he appeared in 2012's Prometheus. This prequel film in the Alien franchise may not have gotten the reception of its predecessors, but it was certainly much better than many initially gave it credit for, and one person in particular made this possible. Captain Janek.
Love the one you're with. Love the one you're with.
Considering how small his role in the film was, you may not even remember this guy, but if you don't, your brain should apologize for making such a huge mistake because, well, he's just so damn cool and far more interesting than you probably thought, but maybe not in a way you'd expect. Let me explain. As we approach the climax, we begin my favorite scene in Prometheus. When Shaw prepares to go back into the alien ship to meet one of the engineers, a member of a species who created humanity, Janek interrupts her, informing her of the reality of this planet.
You know what this place is? It's an installation. Maybe even military. And they put it out here in the middle of nowhere because they're not stupid enough to make weapons of mass destruction on their own doorstep. They made it here. It got out. It turned on them. The end. Time for us to go home.
This man is observant. He knows what's going on, and he's not interested in exploring the engineers any further, even after learning that one of them is still alive.
One of them is still alive. Don't you want to know what they have to say?
I don't care.
He doesn't care. See, all he does is fly the ship.
All you do is fly the ship.
All this wild, xenomorphic, otherworldly chaos matters not to him.
I don't care.
In a series full of characters so obsessed with knowledge and biochemistry, he just doesn't care. At least not about these larger-than-life questions regarding humanity. Interestingly, we also get a clever bit of symbolism throughout this scene. We see that Janek is taking off his suit while Shaw is putting her suit on to go back into the ship. This contrast illustrates the differences between Shaw and Janek, that despite both having just gone through some pretty traumatic events, Shaw performing a C-section on an alien squid thing growing in her abdomen less than an hour ago, and Janek burning a mutated superhuman powerful enough to kill a man in one hit, Shaw decides to dive even deeper into this ideological abyss. Unlike Shaw or many of the other characters who have become so enamored with these monumental philosophical ideas, Janek has no interest in them and can't seem to grasp why Shaw still does.
Where the hell are you going, Doc?
These two characters have very different motivations and goals, Shaw's being more clear and highlighted throughout the film than Janek's. But if Janek doesn't care about the engineers or what they have to say, what does he care about?
How about this? No matter what happens down there, I can't bring none of that shit back home with us. Can't let it happen. And I'll do whatever I have to see that it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, he'll kill those xenomorphs, those engineers, even you, if need be. See, he's concerned with the now, with the people back on Earth. Maybe he came here just because he's supposed to, because he was asked to, because of the money or whatever. The reason he arrived doesn't matter because right now he's rising to the occasion, preparing himself for whatever chaos might ensue. The way he delivers these lines, the desperation, the sense of urgency in his voice makes you feel that he's truly willing to do anything to keep his word here, to protect the planet if it comes to it. And oh boy, does it come to it. Later, after things go awry on the alien vessel and the engineer lifts off, Shaw informs Janek that the ship is carrying death.
It's carrying death!
That if it reaches Earth, there won't be any home to go back to.
There won't be any home to go back to!
Harkening back to the conversation between Shaw and Janek where he reveals where his loyalties lie, she understands that he cares about Earth, and she desperately pleads with him to show it.
Janek, please believe me, please!
In one moment, Janek must put his words to the test. He has to find some way to stop the ship now, before it completely takes off. He knows, though, that the Prometheus was not built to fight, that he has no weapons, no projectiles to throw at him.
Sure, this is not a warship.
He understands that he'll have to just crash into it, so he has to decide whether to sacrifice himself for the planet. And he has to do it now. The music, the sound design, and the editing in the scene makes this moment feel so monumental. It makes the decision so immediate, so urgent and desperate. He'll only get one shot, and he can't waste time pondering over whether or not to do it. He only hesitates a second, quickly deciding to act, understanding its unparalleled importance. And then, he does it.
Hands up!
saves the planet, offering perhaps the most significant sacrifice in the entire franchise. Having watched this film again recently, I've come to appreciate it much more, and one of the most notable improvements was Captain Janek, how he contrasts much of the larger alien universe. It's refreshing to see someone in the series who isn't interested in these grand philosophical questions like Shaw and the other members of the Prometheus, who isn't desperately struggling to survive like the crew aboard the Nostromo. Though Ripley has also saved the Earth by stopping the Weyland-Yutani Corporation from getting their hands on the xenomorph time and time again, those felt less urgent than Janek's sacrifice, more focused on her own survival and the lives of her companions. The significance of those moments arose from the relationship she had formed and the emotional connections we had made with them, like when she saves Newt from the alien queen.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Ripley's heroics feel more personal and contained, intimate. Much of Janek's success, though, comes down to the scene's feelings of awe, from the resounding music and cinematography, from the desperation in Shaw's voice, from the realization that he must act immediately. We know that the engineer will kill everyone on Earth. His quickness to kill Weyland and his associates and us seeing the power of the black goo makes that obvious. The danger of this threat feels much less ambiguous than a corporation trying to control and militarize the xenomorph. Janek's sacrifice feels epic in a way that stands out in a franchise whose deaths largely feel insignificant, tragic in how unremarkable they are. Characters in the Alien universe rarely go out in a blaze of glory, dying for a greater cause, to save someone else, but rather end up feeling empty and meaningless. Think of Parker in the original. He risked and ultimately sacrificed his life to save Lambert, but she died anyway. Weyland spent so much time clinging to life to meet the engineers just for one to smack him with the head of his own creation, killing him unceremoniously. Janek gets his moment though. He does get a meaningful death, perhaps the most important one, and maybe that takes away from the cynical, grounded tone of the franchise at large, but for me, I'm glad that someone in this horrifying, morbid universe died in a way that actually meant something. Humanity did survive. Sometimes we need those moments to prove the strength of our beliefs, how valuable we can be. Janek got that. And that's enough for me. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any good if I couldn't do that.